Right? How you all doing? I've had a weird day today. No, I haven't. Weirdest thing today is seeing a block of flats with a thatch roof. But that doesn't relate to anything going on here. Look, I've had a pretty chill day, but something happened today and I did not expect to feel the way that I felt about it. Let me explain. I'm going to try and make this sound as weird and dodgy as possible, but I must say, no complaints. I have no complaints whatsoever. Not so bad. Just I didn't expect things to happen, and I didn't expect to feel the way I did. I'm really pushing this one. So, I've had a chill day. Me and the wife have just been hanging out, watching TV, and all of a sudden, knock on the old door, yeah? Knock on the door. And wife answers, and it's a geezer from our ISP. Okay. Why is there an engineer from our ISP on my doorstep? I know that my wife made a call to our ISP the other day. She wasn't particularly happy with the net dropping out. She's not particularly happy with our hardware. And I guess she just said, hey, yo, man, what the fuck? And so an engineer turns up. I completely forgot the call happened. I thought they were just going to be sending some kit out because our gear is old. Not our gear as such, but one piece of our network is... well, it comes from about the same time as the dinosaurs, as far as networking is concerned. So we have an old, white modem. So just an open reach modem that comes with BT internet connections over here in the UK. And it does the job. For fibre to the cab, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. However, ours failed a long time ago. And we got our modem from somebody else who had moved to an all-in-one unit. Now, I didn't want an all-in-one unit from the ISP because then that meant I couldn't change any settings. You know, I like to have my own tweaked DNS settings. I like to be able to fiddle with the Wi-Fi. I just like to be able to internets, do the things, to do the stuff, to make sure that everything's working. Plus, ISP... routers and modems are usually they're shite. They're just downright terrible. And BT's kit way back in the day was not good. Way back when we got this connection, when we moved to the house, no, we had the gear from our last house. They didn't send us new equipment. So when we moved our contract, we did ask for new equipment. They didn't send us new equipment. It failed. We had to get bits. And I've tacked all of my extra stuff on top of it because reasons, right? So the engineer is brought into the house and he's like, hey, yo, so what's the problem? And my wife's like, well, there isn't really one, you know, the internet's okay. It's cool. It's go, oh, so it's a health check then. It's a service health check. Because I don't have anything on my little system, on my logs, for this house. I don't know what I'm here for. And I was like, that's weird. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm sat here eating my dinner at the time, right? And so he starts asking the wife questions. And she says, look, I don't know. Frankly, I don't care. He's asking about internet speeds and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't know. Ask my husband. He's the one that gives a damn about this stuff. Through the man comes. He starts asking, where is the phone point in the house? It's here. It's right by my desk. Right there. See that? You can't see it. It's there. Right. It's right by the modem and the router and the big beefy switch and the NAS and all the cables everywhere connecting to this of computers, right? And I say to him, our connection's okay. It's not particularly fast. It's probably the higher end of what our ISP offers for fibre to the cab, where they get a fibre line and they run it to the cabinet, and then it goes from the cabinet through a copper phone line to ye house. If you're unlucky, I think you're on aluminium, but whatever. And the line goes that way, I think. But I tell them, look, it's all down there. It's not standard BT equipment. It's not the standard ISP equipment. Because he was like, you know, where is it? What kind of what's the setup? And I said, look, it's all down here. And I explained the setup. I explained how it is, why we're using all this different gear. He didn't even seem bothered that we were using someone else's modem because our last one failed. So realistically, we would just like a new package, like some new kit. We would like a new modem or whatever it is you have to offer because we're still running and blah 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 and all that. Then the weird thing happens, right? I felt a tad violated after this. I know that's not really the right word for it, but the guy, after literally hearing the explanation of how our network is set up, just reaches over to my laptop, right? Doesn't ask me about my laptop or my computer or anything like that, just literally reaches over to my laptop, opens up a browser, and starts typing in IP addresses. And I was like, what? Like, in my head, I'm just like, what is he doing? Like, I was like, do you want me to help you with anything? And it's like, no, it's fine, I've got this. He's typing away on my machine. And admittedly, there was nothing, okay? There was literally nothing. He was trying to access the router and the modem as if it was standard equipment. And well, as I explained to him, it's not standard equipment, so it's not going to work. I guess he was trying to get to the what was it he was trying to get to? Was he trying to check the SNR or whatever? I don't remember exactly what it was he was trying to check, but it was something he could have checked if he could have got to the stats page on the modem, which he would have been able to do through the router, through if we were using standard equipment, he could have just typed in something in the browser and it would have just gone straight through. But obviously, because I'm not rolling standard equipment, he doesn't have access to any of that, and unless he's got a direct line to the modem, he can't do that. Plus, actually, I think only one model. There were two models of the modem around, and only one of them would let you just hard connect in and through the phone would just actually check all the stats on it. But as I say, none of that works, and so he's sat at my laptop. And he's just typing away, putting in these different addresses. And then he goes to speed test, and he runs a speed test at speedtest.net. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just checking to see if your connection matches my Wi-Fi readings, the speed on the Wi-Fi. And at first I was like, hang on a minute, look, I didn't ding to this. And he was like, oh, I've got, you know, 60 some odd meg. And I was like, yeah, you know, we're supposed to get about 72 and 16 up, so I was, no, it's good enough, right? But Wi-Fi. Now, he's on my laptop. And I was like, oh yeah, well, it's a good thing that's hardwired. He'd already started to run the speed test, so it was a good thing it's hardwired, because otherwise you'd get the exact same result. Without my brain dinging, hang on a minute, how's he on my Wi-Fi? He isn't. He's not paid attention at all to the fact that we're not using ISP equipment. So, because a lot of the modems around here, the ones on my ISP, they put out a hotspot for people to use. You can connect to like a BT open zone access point or whatever as you're all fluffing around. Like if you're in a coffee shop or whatever, there's usually like an open zone thing, and you log in on their captive portal. You log in and you can use the internet. You're using wherever the location's is Wi-Fi. That location's Wi-Fi. That location's internet connection, but it's given to you through British Telecom, through BT. Because they just do that. They want everyone to have access to. If you are a subscriber to BT and BT Internet, you can use your username and password to just use Wi-Fi like everywhere. You can just have it. Everyone's house who is on BT, and BT is the biggest provider in this country, we're beaming out free Wi-Fi for people. You know, if you want it, you can log in. I don't like that. I don't want you on my network if I don't want you on my network, right? So, again, another benefit to not have an ISP kit. So I was like, I know one of my neighbours has a BT connection with a BT router, so chances are he's probably on their hotspot, on their Wi-Fi, and is running a speed test from their line, not mine. If he was using my line, how the fuck did he get into my Wi-Fi? Unless he's like using like Pome Phone or whatever, or Kali, as he was like standing outside my house. Like, how did he get into my Wi-Fi? But he runs the speed test and he starts checking a couple of other IPs, local IPs. And I'm like, dude, you're not. Do you need some help, man? Because you're not going to find anything. Because there's nothing on that subnet that you're typing in all these IP addresses, and there's nothing there. I can assure you there's nothing there. I set this network up, there's nothing on that subnet. You are in the complete wrong place, mate. And it's like, oh yeah, so what brand is the thing? I was like, yes, you're just, mate, you're not going to get anything. Like, unless I give you access, you're not getting anything. You don't have any tools with you right now to just stand here and access any of these creds. Like, you just can't do it. So we get the speed results, and he says, yeah, it's all good, it's all good. He calls up like someone on the phone, and I guess he reads out our account number over the phone or whatever, and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. He says, yeah, everything's fine. He says, I don't, like, he doesn't have any creds, he doesn't have any details, he doesn't know what's going on, but the connection is fine. It was like it just says, this must just be a contract renewal, right? Because I guess if my wife said that she wanted to get rid of the landline too. So, because we don't use the landline, we just literally use the phone line. It's just for internet, which I'm sure it is for most people. But we wanted to get rid of the phone line because that'll save us a bit of cash. Not the actual physical line, but the fact that we are paying to be able to dial out on this number. Doesn't matter. Wanted to get rid of that, and he's like, okay, that's the thing. Then he says to us, right? Then he says, we're just going to go down to the box down the road, and we're gonna run some tests. Okay, cool. And that was basically it, really. I asked him some questions about when we're getting fibre to the premises rather than fibre to the cab, because there's a few folks, there's a few companies running fibre around the town, so eventually we can get gigabit. That would be beautiful. Not necessary, but would be nice to have the extra bandwidth. I could do with some extra bandwidth. But he said that they're having some troubles, and maybe the company installing it is kind of cocked up somewhere, and that we might not get it down my road, which is weird because the whole country is supposed to get blanketed in it. Something to do with how one of the connections has been spliced might be a bit, but then maybe I'm just mishearing it because I have got old man ears. But he said at best before Christmas, maybe after Christmas, so February time. I'm cool. If it's with my current ISP, I'm fine with that, because all of the lines are leased from BT anyway. This BT's copper or aluminium or whatever it is that they're running these days. So even if your ISP isn't BT, you're still going through their infrastructure. But so I'd happily move over to gigabit if it's going through BT stuff. So I was going to go and check the box, and that was basically the end of the conversation. The reason it felt weird to me, and frankly the dude did nothing wrong. I would have preferred it if he'd have asked me before he started going over and fingering my laptop, and I didn't have like fat material or anything on the desktop or whatever, but still asking me first would have been nice. Again, not a complaint about the ISP or the engineer, the chap who came round. It was fine. Polite, even put the little plastic bag booties on his feet so he didn't trounce crap through my house. But it just felt weird to me. I didn't expect to feel the way that I did after he started using my laptop. Now, admittedly, I don't like it if people start fiddling around with my machine. Don't fucking do it. I hate it when, like, I don't know, I'll go to the fridge to grab a drink and I'll come back and one of my mates has put up like a joke thing on my browser or whatever. Don't do it. Don't like it. Really gets on my tits. But, in this case, I just thought it was really weird. It was fine, just I treat other people's computers, your computer, your phone, whatever, to me, that is like your diary. Okay? I shouldn't be fiddle-fuck-assing around with what is the digital equivalent of your diary. You could have personal shit on it, you could be in the middle of doing something, and anything that you do or anything that the other person does on the machine could cause whatever it is you were doing to go wrong. File transfers, video rendering, that kind of thing. You just don't do it. It's not It's not cool. That's someone else's personal space, you know, that my personal space had been violated. And I said that to the wife, I feel violated. And she's like, what? I go, the dude touched me in my personal place, man. And she was like, what are you on about? And then I just pointed to my laptop and she was like, oh, for fuck's sake, really? But yeah, it was just, I don't know, I just felt a little uncomfortable. There's nothing on my laptop at all, other than projects that I'm working on, realistically, but just still, that's... I remember working in a computer store back in the day, and I wasn't particularly chuffed when a customer brought in a computer, and one of the other engineers, they were supposed to be doing repairs on, I can't remember what the problem was, it doesn't matter. Engineer, I meant technician, nowhere near qualified to be able to use the title engineer. But they were supposed to be fixing this machine, and it's on the bench, it's all hooked up, and looking over, and they're like, oh, check it out. It's been a long time ago, my memory's a bit fuzzy, but they were looking through their photos and their documents. I don't remember this being part of what was wrong with the computer, right? But they were just flicking through the documents folder on the thing. Like, oh mate, look! And they're going through their photos and they're looking at this couple's, like this person's wedding photos. Like just going through it directory by directory, just looking through their wedding photos and stuff like that. And I was just like, nah man, I ain't cool with this. Like at all. This is just no. Because of that, and they're just kind of, you know, everyone just looking through files on the machine, I felt horrible. I was like, I would not want to bring my machine in here. You know, if this is going to be the groove, I'm not cool with it. You know. So, oh man, just to note, these were the days when you didn't always plug your drives in with SATA either. So, like this tells you how far back it was. But no, I couldn't. That was the last day. For me, I was just like, no, I can't, I'm not doing this anymore, I can't, I won't recommend this place to anyone at all, just no, that is uncalled for, totally inappropriate. You do not go through someone else's personal files when they leave a computer in your care, you know. There are other steps first that should be taken before you even think of going through someone else's files, you know. But just I don't know. That just I didn't feel comfortable with that, and it made me feel a bit uncomfortable that someone was just, you know, just typing IP addresses on my laptop. But I was just like, maybe if I was expecting it, but I wasn't. So I don't know. I'm curious. Like, how do other people feel? Like, if someone's like, you know, thumbing through your phone or whatever, even if you've got nothing on there, like that's not a comfortable experience, I don't think, anyway. Like I said, I treat someone else's computer as though I was like treating something incredibly personal to them, like private to them, like it was their diary or something like that, because people put important stuff on their computers. You don't do that. I thought about it after the chap left. I thought, wouldn't it have been funny if I was a dick and the machine that I had turned on sat at my desk was like, I don't know, running i3 or Awesome Window Manager, like a Thailand Window Manager, like, get on with that, son. But yeah, that's my day. That's my day. It just brought back that weird I was working at a shop moment, and that wasn't cool. Like I said, no complaint. The dude literally just opened up a browser, typed in some IP addresses, didn't listen to what I was saying because where he was trying to go on my network didn't exist. So, yeah. It's rad. It's neat. But there we go. I'm gonna head off. I got touched in my private place. My personal space. I got violated today. My personal user space got violated today. I don't actually know I don't know what they came around for. Just a health check, but they didn't like rig anything up to the box underneath my desk. They didn't check the line directly from the house. I guess that's probably why they left. When they left the house, they said they'd do the line check, but but it's nice to know that if we get fibre, it might be within the next 4 to 6 months. So that'll be cool. That'd be neat. So I don't know if I need it, but then I went on a mission to just encrypt everything. I was like, they're going to be checking my line. Let's fuck with them. Let's just encrypt all traffic now for shits and giggles. By the way, just as a note, you don't need a VPN. And if you are one of the only people using a VPN in that pool of IPs, you stick out like a sore thumb. Just saying, you might think you're doing everything, you're being really privacy conscious and all that kind of stuff. If you are the only person pushing buckets of traffic and you're the only one using a VPN, that looks weird. Looks weird, mate. You look a bit sus, right? You might know what you're doing, but if there's 100 people in the room and you're the only one using a VPN, that looks a bit weird. What are you hiding, son? What are you hiding? It makes people curious. So, yeah. Just saying. You don't have any privacy on the internet, realistically. But only takes one mistake to piss in the pool and ruin it for yourself and for everyone else. So, hope you're well. And I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. They didn't even give me a new modem or anything. If the guy turned up to deliver me a modem, that'd have been rad, but... Now watch as my machine has been pwned and my entire network is going to catch fire now.